Have you ever felt like the one thing you're best at is also the source of all your problems? That your greatest talent, the thing everyone praises you for, secretly feels like a punishment? Well, you're not alone. This phenomenon is so ancient, it has a mythological name we just made up: the Griffin's curse. It's the idea that your gift comes with a set of hidden, frustrating terms and conditions. If that sounds oddly familiar, maybe hit that subscribe button, because you might just be a modern-day mythological beast in disguise. This isn't about some hocus-pocus magic or an actual hex placed upon your bloodline. It's a framework, a fun, mythological lens through which we can examine a very real, very human experience. It's for the person who is an amazing listener but is now everyone's 24/7 therapist, or the brilliant artist who can create masterpieces but can't seem to pay their rent. Your talent is your superpower, but sometimes that cape feels incredibly heavy, and you secretly wish you could just leave it in the closet for a day. In this video, we're going to explore the 5 key signs of the Griffin's curse. We'll dive into why your amazing abilities might be leading to isolation, why success can feel like a cage, and how the pressure to be great can become a crushing weight. We'll break down each sign using the legend of the Griffin itself as our guide, showing you how an ancient monster's job description weirdly mirrors the struggles of talented people today. This is a diagnosis by way of mythology. Now, a quick disclaimer: we are not licensed therapists or life coaches. We are certified world-class mythology nerds. Our credentials come from spending way too much time in the dusty back sections of libraries, deciphering ancient texts and noticing that the problems of gods and monsters sound a lot like our own, just with more smiting and fewer Zoom meetings. Our expertise is in storytelling, and this is one story you might find surprisingly relatable. To truly understand this curse, you first need to understand the creature it's named after. The Griffin wasn't just some cool-looking hybrid. It had a very specific, all-consuming job. Its life, a blend of majesty and misery, forms the perfect metaphor for the burdens of a great gift. So before we diagnose you, let's travel back in time and meet the original guardian of cursed treasures. The Griffin is one of the coolest creatures in the mythological zoo. It's a majestic beast with the body, tail, and back legs of a lion, the king of the beasts, and the head, wings and talons of an eagle, the king of the birds. This combination made it a symbol of divine power, a master of both earth and sky. It was seen as intelligent, powerful, and fiercely loyal. On paper, the Griffin sounds like it won the genetic lottery of mythical creatures, a true apex predator. But its power came with a very specific and, frankly, terrible job. Griffins were most famous for being obsessive guardians. According to ancient writers like Herodotus, they lived in the desolate mountains of Scythia, where they had the distinct displeasure of guarding enormous deposits of gold. Their entire existence was dedicated to one task: protecting this treasure from anyone who dared to approach, especially their one-eyed humanoid neighbors, the Arimaspians, who were always trying to steal it. This role created a split personality in their mythology. To some, Griffins were noble protectors of the divine, paragons of vigilance and strength. But to others, especially would-be treasure hunters, they were nothing more than greedy, vicious monsters. They were a necessary security system, but not the kind of creature you'd invite to a dinner party. Their perception was entirely dependent on whether you wanted what they were protecting. A classic case of hero to some, obstacle to others. Think about it in modern terms. Imagine you're the head of security for Fort Knox, but you also have to live there. You're surrounded by unimaginable wealth. You command immense respect and fear, but you can never, ever leave. You can't go on vacation. You can't pop out for groceries. Your whole life is just sitting in a vault staring at gold and getting really, really good at spotting one-eyed thieves. It's a life of power, but also of profound, unending boredom and paranoia. This existence, this eternal, high-stakes duty, is the very foundation of the curse. It creates a specific set of psychological burdens that manifest as clear, recognizable signs in gifted people today. The first and perhaps most defining of these signs is a deep, unshakable loneliness that comes from sitting on a mountain of treasure that no one else can truly understand. The first sign you might be afflicted with the Griffin's curse is that your talent isolates you. Like the Griffin in its remote mountain hoard, your unique ability places you on a different peak of existence from everyone else. You see, think or feel the world in a way that is difficult to translate. This isn't arrogance, it's a simple byproduct of specialization. Your internal operating system runs on a different code, and that can make communication with standard models feel buggy, leading to a profound sense of being alone. Consider the brilliant musician who hears complex harmonies in the sound of a passing train. They try to explain this beautiful, intricate symphony to a friend who just hears annoying screeching metal. The musician isn't wrong and the friend isn't dumb. They're just experiencing two different realities. The musician's treasure of auditory perception creates a barrier. They are alone with the beauty they experience, unable to fully share the very thing that makes them special. This doesn't just apply to artistic or intellectual geniuses. It could be the person with an uncanny business sense who can't understand why their friends make such poor financial decisions. Or it could be the hyper-organized person whose family lives in a state of beautiful, maddening chaos. In each case, their specific talent makes it harder, not easier, to connect with the people around them. They are guarding a treasure of doing things the right way, and it separates them. Of course, having a talent doesn't automatically sentence you to a life of hermitage. This sign of the curse only manifests when your skill becomes a wall instead of a bridge. It's when you stop trying to explain the music in the train noise because you've learned that nobody else can hear it. You retreat to your mountain, content to be with your treasure, because it's easier than trying to bridge the gap with the world below. But the problem is that this isolation isn't always self-imposed. Often, the world reinforces it by putting you and your talent on a pedestal. You are no longer just a person, you are your gift. This leads directly to the second sign of the curse, being trapped in a golden cage, where the very thing you're celebrated for becomes your prison. The second sign of the Griffin's curse is when your talent becomes a golden cage. It's when your gift is so impressive that it becomes your entire identity in the eyes of others. You're no longer just you, you are the funny one, the smart one, or the one who can fix computers. You've been typecast in the movie of your own life, and the director, everyone you know, won't let you play any other part. Your talent is the treasure, and the cage is the expectation that you will guard and display it on command. Let's take the classic example of the funny friend. They are a treasure trove of humor and quick wit. But because of this, they are expected to be on at every social gathering. No one asks how they are, they ask for a joke. They can't be sad or tired or quiet, because that would be a dereliction of their sacred duty to entertain. They are a performing Griffin, and their treasure is laughter. They are loved for it, but they are also trapped by it. This manifests in countless ways. It's the skilled baker whose family expects a professional-grade cake for every single birthday, turning a joyful hobby into a stressful obligation. It's the natural leader at work who can't show a moment of weakness or uncertainty because the entire team relies on their unflappable confidence. Your greatest strength becomes a cage of expectations, beautifully gilded with praise and admiration, but a cage nonetheless. Your value feels conditional, tied directly to your last performance. Let me know in the comments which of these golden cages feels the most familiar. I'm genuinely curious to see how many of you are secretly guarding a mountain of metaphorical gold. The tricky part of this curse is that the cage is often built with good intentions. People love your talent. They admire it, but over time, their admiration can feel like a demand, restricting your freedom to be a complex, multifaceted human who sometimes, burns the cake. When you're trapped in this cage, constantly performing for an audience, your treasure doesn't just attract admirers, it begins to gleam brightly on the radar of those with less noble intentions. It's like a giant, sparkling beacon for every opportunistic dragon and one-eyed thief in the land. Which brings us to our next sign. Your gift makes you a target. The third sign of the Griffin's curse is that your talent attracts dragons. Metaphorical dragons, of course. These are the people fueled by envy, jealousy, or a simple, parasitic desire to exploit your gift for their own gain. The mythical Griffin had to constantly fight off the Arimaspians who wanted its gold. Your modern-day Arimaspians might be co-workers trying to take credit for your ideas, or friends who only seem to call when they need a favor that involves your specific expertise. A perfect example is the budding entrepreneur with a brilliant, innovative idea. At first, everyone is supportive. But as soon as the idea starts to show real promise and generate profit, as soon as the treasure becomes tangible, the dragons appear. Partners suddenly feel they deserve a bigger share. Competitors try to steal the concept, and hangers-on materialize out of nowhere, all wanting a piece of the hoard. The gift of innovation becomes a constant, exhausting battle to protect what you've created. This envy isn't always so dramatic. It can be the quiet, passive-aggressive resentment from a sibling who feels overshadowed by your success. It can be the friend who subtly downplays your achievements because your talent makes them feel insecure about their own. Your gift, through no fault of your own, disrupts the social ecosystem. You become a walking, talking reminder of what others haven't achieved, and for some, the only way to feel better is to try and knock you off your mountain. This forces you into a state of perpetual vigilance. You become hesitant to share your ideas, suspicious of new people and their motives, and guarded about your success. The curse isn't just the external attacks, it's the internal paranoia it creates. You start to see potential thieves everywhere, which deepens the isolation we talked about earlier. How can you form genuine connections when you're constantly screening people for ulterior motives? This constant battle, this need to protect your talent from external threats, inevitably creates an equally damaging internal pressure. You're not just guarding your hoard from others, you become obsessed with guarding it from your own potential for failure. This introduces the fourth sign, the unbearable weight of your own high standards. The fourth sign that the curse has its talons in you is the crushing weight of the crown. Your talent is your crown, a symbol of your status, but it doesn't feel light and majestic. It feels like it's made of solid lead. The pressure to maintain your standard of excellence and to constantly exceed it is immense. You're not allowed to have an off day. Every single thing you create or do must be a testament to your gift. A single mistake feels less like a learning opportunity and more like a catastrophic failure. Think of a writer who has one wildly successful best-selling novel. Their treasure is their literary skill. But now the second book looms. The expectation from their publisher, their fans, and most importantly themselves, is for a novel that is not just as good, but better. The joy of writing is replaced by the paralyzing fear of disappointment. They are no longer a person telling a story. They are a Griffin guarding a reputation, and every word they write is a potential thief of their legacy. This curse of perfectionism afflicts people in every field. It's the athlete who is haunted by one missed shot, ignoring 100 successful ones. It's the chef in a Michelin-starred restaurant who lives in mortal terror of a single bad review. The very success that your talent brought you becomes a new, higher-stakes prison. The freedom to experiment, to play, to fail is gone. All that remains is the relentless, grinding pressure to be perfect every single time. Now, a desire to improve and a strong work ethic are good things. The curse takes hold when this desire mutates into a crippling fear of imperfection. It's when you spend more time polishing one gold coin to a mirror shine than you do finding new treasure. This anxiety stifles creativity and turns your passion into a source of pure, unadulterated stress. You're no longer driven by love for what you do, but by fear of not doing it well enough. This obsessive, laser-like focus on perfecting and protecting your one great talent often comes at an enormous cost to everything else in your life. While you're inside your cave, meticulously guarding every single piece of gold, you might not notice that the world outside, and indeed, the rest of your inner world, is becoming a barren wasteland. This leads us to the final, most insidious sign of the curse. The fifth and final sign of the Griffin's curse is that your talent creates an echo chamber. You become so consumed by your gift, by practicing it, protecting it, and perfecting it, that your world begins to shrink. Other parts of your identity, your hobbies, your relationships, and even your health start to wither away from neglect. Your life becomes your talent, and your talent becomes your life. You are a griffin in a cave full of gold, but the cave is empty of everything else that makes life worth living. A classic example is the dedicated academic who spends decades becoming the world's foremost expert on a single, obscure subject. They have accumulated a vast treasure of knowledge, but in the process they've missed weddings, birthdays, and the simple joy of a weekend with no agenda. They can lecture for hours on their topic, but they struggle to make small talk at a party. Their world, once broad and full of possibilities, has narrowed to the size of a library carrel. This isn't just about workaholism. It can be the devoted painter who skips meals to finish a piece, letting their physical health deteriorate. It could be the political activist so committed to their cause that they sever ties with anyone who doesn't share their exact views, shrinking their social circle to a tiny, self-validating bubble. In each case, the relentless pursuit of one treasure leads to the impoverishment of all other areas of life. The curse isn't the dedication itself. Mastery requires focus. The curse is the profound imbalance. It's that moment you finally look up from your hoard of gold and realize the sun is setting on a life you forgot to live. You know everything there is to know about your treasure, but you know almost nothing about the world outside your cave, or even about the other parts of yourself you left behind. So here you are, isolated, trapped by expectations, paranoid about rivals, crushed by perfectionism, and living in a self-imposed echo chamber. It's a bleak picture. But the story doesn't have to end here. Acknowledging the curse is the first step to breaking it. The goal isn't to get rid of your talent, but to learn how to be its master, not its eternal, miserable guardian. So how do you tame your inner Griffin and lift the curse? The first practical step is to consciously diversify your identity. Your talent is a part of who you are, but it is not the entirety of who you are. Actively schedule time for activities that have absolutely nothing to do with your gift. If you're a brilliant analyst, take up finger painting. If you're a graceful dancer, try learning a clumsy, ridiculous new sport. The goal is to be a beginner at something, to fail, to be gloriously mediocre, and to enjoy it. Next, find other Griffins. Seek out people who share your talent and its burdens, but don't approach them as competitors or rivals. Approach them as peers who understand the unique pressures you face. Online forums, professional groups, or mentorship programs can be invaluable. Sharing your experiences with someone who gets it, who also worries about dragon envy and the weight of the crown, can make the treasure feel less like a burden and more like a shared responsibility. It's crucial to set realistic expectations for this process. Taming a mythological beast, even a metaphorical one, is not an overnight job. You are unlearning habits that have been reinforced for years. There will be days when the pressure to be perfect wins, or when you retreat back into your echo chamber because it feels safe. The goal isn't to magically become a different person. It's to slowly and intentionally build a life where your talent is a source of joy, not a sentence of servitude. So what about you? After hearing all this, do you recognize yourself in any of these 5 signs of the Griffin's curse? In the comments below, tell us which sign hit a little too close to home. Is it the isolation of your unique perspective, or the golden cage of expectations? Sharing your story might be the very thing that helps another lonely guardian realize their cave doesn't have to be a prison. Ultimately, your greatest talent doesn't